Hi, scholars. Now we're into day 2 of our reading of Off and Running. But first, let's review what we learned about our grammar and vocabulary. Just a quick reminder about what we'll be working on this week: compound sentences and our conjunctions. We'll be focusing on and, but, or. Let's do some practice. Your turn today. Kati traveled to the woods. She went hunting. Which conjunction will you use? And to add on an idea, but to add a contrasting idea, or to show that someone is making a decision between something. What's your answer? Very good. And notice that our comma is there as well. Kati traveled to the woods and she went hunting. A reminder about our vocabulary. We're using context clues to help us determine the meaning of unknown words. Your turn. The dog escaped when the gate was left ajar last night. We're looking to determine the meaning of the word ajar. So what in the sentence let you know what the word ajar means? Slightly open is the definition, and the context clues was dog escaped. We're going to continue reading Off and Running, but first we're going to focus on a specific strategy: infer and predict. You can find definitions of these words on page 82 in your textbook. So go ahead and go there now. To infer means to understand something that is not stated directly by the author. To predict means to use clues to make logical guesses about what might happen in the future. So what can we infer and predict so far based off what we've read in Off and Running? Think about that. But first, we're going to watch a video. Hopefully that video helped you learn more about how to make predictions. Based on our reading thus far in Off and Running, I can infer that the boys are treated differently at this school based on their actions. A prediction I can make is that Miata may be discouraged from continuing to run for class president, but she won't quit. I'm going to read some more of the story aloud. I'm going to start on page 92. Why not an hour? Someone yelled from the audience. We can't push our luck, dude, Rudy responded. Miata wanted to cover her face. It was obvious that the audience was siding with Rudy. Rudy raised his hands and asked for silence. Plus, he continued as he slowly scanned the audience, plus, I'm going to ask for ice cream day every day, not just on Fridays. The audience roared as Rudy wobbled the box and then jumped off. He returned to his seat, pushing a fresh piece of bubblegum into his mouth. You got good ideas, Rudy said with confidence. Good luck. Buena suerte. He extended a hand. Yeah, thanks, I'll need it, Miata said in a whisper as she stood up and shook Rudy's hand, which was as cool as a lizard's. Good luck to you too, Rudy. After the debate, the students returned to their classrooms. Miata tried to put on a good face. Most of the girls knew that Rudy was a joker. They knew he could never get that extra 5 minutes of recess or ice cream 5 days a week. But the boys might believe him. Miata needed a new strategy. After school, she returned home and started her homework behind the closed door of her bedroom. but her mind was stalled. She kept looking at the photo of herself taken in Mexico when she was 5 years old. She was on a pony. Her smile was big and her eyes lit with happiness. That was fun, she whispered as she remembered how her Uncle Jorge led her around the yard. At the time, she had thought she was going really fast, but now she knew that it must have been slower than a trot. Miato put down her homework and looked in her scrapbook at her dad's family in Mexico. Her grandparents and uncles and aunts, they all lived north of Guadalajara on a rancho. Then toward dark, she heard her father come home. She heard the screen door slam and his heavy trudge to the kitchen. She heard the groan of the faucet, and then her father calling, Miata, ven acá. Miata let the pencil roll from her hand. She was tired of doing her math problems. See, Miata yelled as she scooted back her chair. She hurried into the living room. What's up, Papi? I found something at work. What? A most unusual thing. What is it? Tell me. He was holding a small white box in his hand. It scared me when I found it. Her father's face was darkened with worry and dust from his long hours at work. Miato furrowed her brow. She was curious. Slowly, her father lifted the lid from the box. Miato peeked in. Standing on her tippy toes, in it stood an adult index finger that was gnarled as a root. She eyed her father and clicked her tongue. Where do you think it came from, mija? Her father asked seriously. He petted the finger with his free hand. From your left hand, Papi, Miata answered, hands on her hip. That's where it came from. Go ahead and continue reading on your own. Today's discussion questions. What figurative language does the author use on page 86 to bring the setting to life? Think about the dialogue between Miyasa and Rudy on pages 86 to 87. Based on their dialogue and actions, what can we infer about who they are as students? Describe Miyata's demeanor at the beginning of her speech. How does it change throughout her speech? What does Rudy seem to care about as it relates to his school community? Answer these questions in your notebook or in your Google Classroom. Make it a great day, scholars. I'll see you tomorrow.